Excuse me, you unscrupulous fellow. What acts of corporatism and avarice does oneself intend to negotiate with our canal of revenue named after the particles formed as a result of a fragment of a celestial body that has been refined to a powder, or dust if you may, created out of only solids and not in the stage of its lifespan when such large star or planetoid may be due to cause a supernova, or a hole that shares the value of reflectance equivalent to nil, and consumes the light emitted from fellow celestial bodies that may or may not be classified as colleagues to said hole within the fabric of space and time that consumes anything that may come within the proximity of said radius, or star of the hue of the heavens, if you will, with strong connotations to religious paradise and purity, being crushed into a powder of sort, despite the fact that the title of the classification I originally inscribed this business with, in the first dubbed version from the language of a thin series of landmasses all varying in size located at the eastmost parts of Asia, referred to as Japan, and its language, Japanese, and got lousily converted to the language that is spoken all across the globe upon viewing from flat earth model that so many lunatics swear by, of our earth being shaped similarly to English, that is recognized by a number of governing bodies who call the language a primary derivation of the German, Dutch and baguette I want to forget. Linguistic communication methods. With a 26-lettered lexicon, this business offers comically large quantities of alcohol and a glamorous roster of women that all possess unique skill sets that appeal to separate customers, maximizing our popularity upon the fictional city of Kamurocho inside of Japanese Mafia, the first, the video game, and increasing our revenue to astronomical highs. Alternatively, I also must refer to an object or thing that exists within our world, but I have not defined as I am a poo-poo dum-dum.
Pardon myself for such antisocial behaviour or deeply impoverished greetings and mannerisms depending on how you may wish to interpret my following request. I have arrived at the venue that is well known across the fictional town of Kamurocho, taking vital tourist attractions from the exquisite nightlife paradise that the town was inspired by, commonly known as Kabukicho. From the world of living and life, we are glimpsing and attentively listening to said cutscene from due to the fact that the thumbnail of said video that said person is said watching said FAP. I have sidetracked us to great distances. My arrival is of desire to communicate in a friendly manner to the CEO and manager of this fine establishment that is closely linked to the devil. Despite the connotations of the name, examples of connotations are mystical, wealth and desires. Most closely reference Lucifer himself.
Oi, human with a cranium that me, I, and myself shall disrespect you with by stating that it is fabricated out of nothing except for feces. Despite the fact my claim is absolute bogus and lacks any evidence to back it up, I disrespectfully wish to inquire about what group of people that are named families, despite the fact they are mostly related in no way, shape or form, and have a mutual metallic badge, normally taking the form of a circle on the top right of their blazer, part of their two-piece suit. I would wish to place a wager that you hail from the family led by the patriarch Futoshi Shimano, that just so happens to be the secondary antagonist of the game that we just so happen to be conversing in aggressively at this moment in the space-time curriculum.
I shall be flummoxed as of now by one's previous remarks and calmly plead you give me permission of me to make use of my pinus, tympanic membrane, ossicles, cochleae, semicircular canals and ear canals to hearken to one's unannounced outburst of fury and rage. At this current time, myself shall be seeking a Japanese homo sapien that possesses genitals, ovaries, a corpus spongiosuma, and a high source of testosterone, all qualities of someone part of the male gender. The human being that possesses these qualities and is your colleague and patron that was assigned the birth name of Kazuki. I must state I do not affiliate with Japanese gangsters, members of what are formerly called Borikyokudan, violence groups, or mafia-like criminal organizations. In Japan and elsewhere, especially in the West, the term Yakuza can be used to refer to individual gangsters or criminals as well as to their organized groups and to Japanese organized crime in general. Yakuza adopt samurai-like rituals and often bear elaborate body tattoos. They engage in extortion, blackmail, smuggling, prostitution, drug trafficking, gambling, loan sharking, and slave labour contracting. and other rackets and control many restaurants, bars, trucking companies, talent agencies, taxi fleets, factories, and other businesses in major Japanese cities. They are also involved in criminal activities worldwide. The word Yakuza, good for nothing, is believed to have derived from a worthless hand in a Japanese card game similar to Baccarat or Blackjack. The cards Yakuza 893, when added up, give the worst possible total. The origin of the Yakuza themselves is difficult to determine, but they are thought to have descended either from gangs of Ronin, masterless samurai, who turned to banditry, or from bands of do-gooders who defended villages from those same wayward samurai during the early 17th century. This lineage may also be traced to bands of grifters and gamblers in Japan's feudal period. Please consider this before assuming my occupation next time, as I am mildly frustrated at such rude remarks.
Does someone such as yourself think I shall hearken to your counsel and shovel up these myths produced at lightning speed? Great Scott, I have now been led to believe you process thoughts of me at this current point in time as to be an indocile, acute-intellected imbecile. I say, take a sight at oneself.
Sexual intercourse cranium?
Oneself shan't have visually resembled a Japanese mafia if one dare try, but I speak this sentence in a manner that uses Yakuza as an adjective. Fudge and oatcakes. My grammar is wretched, so I may submit an inquiry to yourself this instant and ask, sure, in the name of underworld of this religious belief so rigorously enforced in empires such as the British hundreds of years ago and still widely followed today, Christianity, must you request from my employer and colleague, of which I share great deals of companionship with, or myself. I will now specifically reference why one must acquire a conversation with my employer. Therefore, as I say nay to showcase true diligence in mind dialogue.
5-second micro. I politely request that you may shunt your temper and stress this instant, as I am attempting negotiation despite the fact one like you must be say you want to fight. Alas! Thyself shall not have arrived at a public house that offers services that remain a far cry from the traditional public abodes of the empire the sun has never set on's homeland. Just to perform fisticuffs galore, I show myself in all 360 pixels of resolution to the entirety of my audience to converse with the manager of this sinful establishment on the grounds my arrival shall not have been due to fury, or to prove someone such as myself shall be similar to the Chinese mythical creature that resembles a flying snake that typically spews out combustion at will. A dragon! I simply arrived as of now to communicate in a friendly manner.
¡Cállate la boca! El hecho de que seas un yakuza no significa el puedes mandar a todo el mundo. Incluso en esta ciudad, la gente se las arregla bien sin ninguna ayuda de los malditos yakuza. Se ganan la vida honradamente. A diferencia de ti, al menos Kazuki-san se ha hecho un nombre sin ninguna ayuda. Maldito yakuza, no te metas con Kazuki-san.
How many times must I loop such simple statements regarding myself? He who does not heed my word must be assumed to proudly be contaminated with a disability, primarily affecting the brain, that hinders the user and owner of said disability from performing everyday tasks at normal brain capacity, but stated in an impolite, slur-like manner. Likewise, oneself shall lack pinnace, tympanic membrane, ossicles, cochleae, semicircular canals, and ear canals that shall not be defective. I believe you are a Prince of Wales, you vile scum. You should end your feeble existence this instant, you insignificant sexual intercourse. Alas, these words represent the inner machinations of my mind, as you wish to repeat the significance of my previous service as a Japanese gangster, as if I still pursued such profession. I am truly disappointed in you, and shall strike you with an attack taught by a master of his craft, Kamaki, later on in this interactive form of entertainment story, the Panthera Tigris release.
Sexual intercourse yourself. One will never stand a chance of entering this establishment. You sexual intercourse booty hole. My bar, my rose. You smell.